Well, I didn't have an open can of spray foam, and actually I didn't have a can up here with me, so I went ahead and grabbed some of our fiberglass insulation and stuffed fiberglass in the crack over the top of the Romex. You see it, I got it about that far right there. My next sheet of drywall comes from right there at the other sheet up to right about here where that pencil mark is, so I'm covered there. Got the insulation factor back in the crack. Getting ready to put a piece of drywall up here that has a cutout for that pipe there and a cutout for half of this window here. And this is what that piece is going to look like. It goes around the wood stove pipe and the window. I think he liked his supper tonight. Had a little bit of hamburger, macaroni, and cheese on top of the dog food. All right, cut, bud. Now I just got to do the cutout on the long cutout for the window. That one that you can see there is one for the stovepipe. And then on this other side of the sheet here, I've got to put a big long cutout for the window. I debated on putting it up without or cutting it out first. It's going to be pretty heavy for lifting. For one person, it's about a little over 9 feet long and 4 foot wide. Gonna be heavy, so I thought if I do the cutout first, it'd be lighter to carry, but easier to break. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. We'll get it up there though. Okay, 12 and a half, 81 3/8. And from the far side that butts up to the drywall, we are going to be 34 1/4. Okay. I forgot. These are longer sheets. Okay, well, that's okay. We'll just lay this on its back and connect these two together. There we go. Now, let me see here. I think it's supposed to get up to mid 50s or so today, if I remember right. Right now, in here, let me see here. It says 52.5 in here right now, 52.5 degrees, so that's cool, literally. That's why we're working on getting the wood stove hooked up. I know I'm gonna probably hear people saying, well, you should have stuck it up there and used a roto-zip to follow around there or something, but I'll be glad to get this much weight out of there and get it over there. So that's my reasoning there. Same reason I'm laying it out in reverse on the back side of the sheet instead of laying it out frontwards on the face of the sheet, because it's heavy to tip over, to flip it over by myself. So I'm just reversing the image and cutting it on the back, lightening it up a little bit first, then I'll worry about moving the sheet. What? Does somebody want in? You trying to tell me something over here? Or do you want out? You want to go out? Come on. I'll let you out or I'll let them in, one or the other. Somebody want in or out? One or the other. You want out? You want in? Okay. Okay, Mama Portia came in. Sky stayed in. He didn't want to go out. It's cold and nasty out there. Runt and Oakley are still out there hanging out. I think they enjoy it a little more than the other two. They like running and playing together. They're the ones that almost look like twins, only Oakley's a little more slender than Runt is. Runt's a little thick. But they're both really cool. All four of these dogs are awesome. We ended up with them, well, ended up with the pups by mistake, but it's been a blessing. You know, I mean, yeah, sure, they're a lot of work sometimes and a pain in the butt sometimes, but overall, it's been a blessing to have them around. They're really good dogs, even when they're bad. a different handsaw. This one here we use for cutting a lot of the Fox blocks, and sometimes you're cutting and you scrape up against a piece of re-rod that's in there, or sometimes you're cutting one out that's already got cement poured in it or something like that, and what it does, it takes the set out of these teeth. So actually one side has a little set on it, the other side doesn't have hardly set at all on it. You can feel it when you rub your fingers on it. So when you cut in here, the drywall tends to pinch the blade a lot more than it should, because you don't have that set to make the kerf wider. How you two behave? This way. Move out of that. Enough. Last little piece down here. That much weight out of there. That's the top. Don't have room to turn it around back there. There, that's a little better view. Get you a little closer to the action. You can see we kind of have a temporary living area set up in here. We're not living in here, but we spend a lot of time with the dogs in here. So we come in here, work all day, hanging out with them, and hang out in the evening just to hang out with them, get a little rest, have, you know, I don't know, just a snack or something. So we got some old furniture down here that the dogs can lay on. Got the dog pillows down here. A couple old recliners, and nice and homey. Anyway, time to get this sheet. See if it fits first. It should, but we'll see. Get it in place. I got to put a couple little 1/4 inch thick shims down underneath. That's the hard part. Get it up against those. See, I have little boards up the top. They're about 5/8 of an inch thick, because I want to make sure I leave room to get 1/2 inch drywall on the ceiling after this drywall is up. So I'm leaving a 5/8 gap for the ceiling drywall. Now where are my shims? There. There. Get the shims down here for a minute. Get this little doohickey here. I might go pry up with it, that or this. Get things. I tore that a little bit. I like window trim cover in that, but I tore it. I don't want to cut it. I felt it do it. Just over on the top. There. A shim or two in here. There's that one. Let's see if I can get this one over here. Maybe, maybe not. shoot, my shim came out. Darn it. Okay, there's that one. Now, I'll get this other one here. Okay, that shim's in there too. Here, you pull it over tight. Hitting up top means I need to take that shim up. Now, leave my shims alone. Okay, let's try this now. Here, touching on the top. Okay, we're in. Whew, boy. Huh. Yep. Didn't bring my screws over here. Okay. Guess I'll go get me some screws. Got my screw gun. Now, that'll have window trimmer on that, but shims out of there and up off the floor so the dogs don't try to chew on them again. Today is opening day of gun season here in gun deer season in Michigan. When I was a kid, I would never miss. Actually, not even just when I was a kid. For years and years until my dad got old enough that the cold bothered him too much. It was probably, I don't know, he was 80 years old or so when he quit hunting. And he lost his best hunting buddy, my Uncle Les, which was married to my dad's sister Pat. Les was like a second dad to me. And yeah, it's, once you start, it's not as much fun to go up. When we used to go up to my grandpa's cabin, and several of my uncles had cabins down the same little two-track up by Houghton and Higgins Lake, just to the west in the Dead String Swamp area. We were just on the edge of the Dead String Swamp. There's quite a few there. Run, leave your brother alone. Anyway, we'd go up there, and it would be, my dad's the oldest of 13 kids, so it was me and my dad, my grandpa, a lot of uncles and cousins down that same little fire lane, and we just, even if you got out there in the cold, your toes would get cold, you decide to get up and walk and warm up a little bit, you see somebody coming out to the corner of a fire lane, and chances are it's one of your cousins, you know, or one of your uncles or something like that, or sometimes one of your aunts or female cousin. I had a couple gals in the family that love to hunt, and it was just nice to get up there and hang out and visit and be with Mother Nature. And if you got a deer, great. If you didn't, that didn't matter. It was just good quality family time and just lifetime. That's wonderful, but just isn't the same anymore when everybody's not going hunting. Everybody's getting older, cold bothers people more. Just if you don't have the same people to hang out with, it's just not quite the same. that. I got a lot here I got to get done and get the family warm. Get it so we can live in this place. Hopefully. So, guess I better get me a level out here. Trying to get some marks on the floor. Pencil. Got a longer level, but it's upstairs and it didn't feel like going all the way up there right now. Got marks on the floor where each strip is, every 8 inches in the Fox block. I put marks on the floor so I'd know where to find them. And I know I could find one and measure, but it's easy to get off that way. If you mark the center of them on the floor, you're not going to get off. They're always going to be there. So. Quit your wrestling, guys. Oh, we're having fun, Dad. We're having fun, Dad. Hi, Ron. Hey, Ron. Ron. Come here. Come here. Good job. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. All right. Oh, all right. Hey, Oakley. Hi. Hey, Oakley girl. Oh, stretch. Stretch. Hi, Sky. They're entertaining, to say the least. I've done a little bit of drywall work in the past. I might have said this on a previous video. I can do it good, but I'm not fast. Not anywhere as close to fast compared to those guys that do it for a living, but I can make it look good. And I do put screws in a little different on these styrofoam blocks than I do on wood. Used to be I would go double screws because that's the way a guy taught me a long time ago. 2, 2, and 2. It kept them from pulling through the surface as much. But this styrofoam surface is extremely flat. Well, anyway, after that, they started using adhesive on the back. So I put adhesive on my 2x4s and then just use single screws here and there. And then once the stuff is set, the screws wouldn't pull because that adhesive would hold it solid. It's hard to get any adhesive to work with this styrofoam. So it really wouldn't hold much anyway. So I just do single screws, keep them a little closer together than I normally would, and it all works out good. Or at least, hopefully, well, I haven't done much drywall yet. Like I said, I got just a little bit of drywall on the stairway so I can put the stair treads in, but that goes to 2x6s, not styrofoam. But just from my experience of working with the styrofoam through bracing that I had to put on it while we were pouring or anything like that, just more screws closer together seems to work good. After you get done with this drywall out a little bit farther, and going that way about 9 feet along that wall, we'll start building a hearth here. We're going to build it up out of 2x6s, and then what I'm planning on doing is we're putting some patio stones on top of it. They're 16 inches square. They got looks like not like regular brick, but almost like cobblestone or something. And then on the outer edge, what I got in mind is I'm going to go out to the sawmill. I'm going to measure from the cement floor up to the top of those patio stones. The patio stones will come out flush with the 2x6 frame. It's going to come out the 45 degree and then back. That 45 degree will make more walking between the point of the bar area there and the hearth. So we'll have, I don't know, probably a good 7 or 8 feet to walk through there. And I want to measure that height of what's top of the patio stones are, and cut some slats off the outside of some logs. I haven't determined what type of log I want to use yet for what bark I want. But we're going to cut 4 sides off of some logs. So I'll leave a cant in the middle I can make some lumber out of later, or a beam or something like that. But those slices off the side, I'm going to trim the sides of them so it'll be like this, and we'll trim the sides flat to whatever the width is. on the sides, and we'll put those log faces around this edge, the 45, and back, and then clear coat it so it'll have that log face there. And then we're going to put some corrugated metal up here, and it's going to look really cool when it's done. I think maybe I'll leave the rest of these screws for later so I can get cutting the next piece. I gotta do this piece here. It's gonna come over here. Ooh, that one's gonna be a bugger. This one, I think I will try to get over here in a full sheet because it's gonna have cut out here that's gonna go halfway through the sheet. Looks like I got a good 24 inches there or so. Well, let's see here. 8, 16, 20. Yeah, I got about 2 feet from there to there, just under. And then over this way, it's gonna have cut out on this side. I had a piece this wide in the middle of that whole sheet, which will want to break real easy. So I'm gonna have to bring that over here, and I don't know. What I might do, maybe, here's a thought, I might lay out this window, which won't get cut very deep. So from here, oops, 48 inches over, 34. It'll get cut in here 14 inches deep. I could cut that 14 out, lighten the sheet up a little bit, plus they get cut to 109 and 5/8, so it takes a little bit off the end, which helps because they're 10-foot sheets. And then when I put it in here, I can cut this one out after it's in place, which I could just put it up there and cut them all out when it's in place, but I prefer to do as much cutting ahead of time as possible to lighten it up to carry them around. Okay, sounds like we got a plan. You got pretty eyes, you know that? Especially your right eye with the blue on the bottom of it. That's pretty neat. I bet all the girls like you, don't they? Yeah, I know it. I bet they do. Off balance right here. I got a spot here I want to show you guys where I made this cutout for this pipe here. You can see what I'm screwing into here. So I'm going to bring you over here for just a minute so you can see this. Okay, here's the cutout. Now you can see the right here, you see this black strip right here. That's embedded into that styrofoam. That's what we're screwing into, and it runs vertically through here. So that's what it is. Oh, looks like somebody wants to come in the house. 4 somebodies. Okay, come on in. Come on in. Hi, Ron. Hi, Oakley. Come on. You want to come in? You always like to be out there no matter what, don't you? You coming in? I'm going to close the door. Okay, they are staying out. They don't know what they want. When they're in, they want out. When they're out, they want in. Okay, got a bit of bad news. Not terrible news, but not good. That latest sheet I put up, I forgot to put the metal clips behind there. Those metal clips right there that protect me from putting a screw into the wires. A couple of the wires, screws are questionable that they might be in the area of the wire. So I am going to remove that sheet. Yes, got to take it back loose, take it down out of there, put those metal clips in, and go from there. Oh, darn. Hate it when it happens. But it is what it is. What are you going to do? Okay, guys, I got this sheet back up. Pull it off of there. I'll pull it off there. Pulled the Romex out of the groove. Sorry. And check, make sure I didn't have any screw holes in it anywhere. I did not. Got lucky there. Actually, I don't think the screws would be deep long enough to touch the Romex anyway, because I've got the Romex shoved all the way back against the cement with styrofoam plugs holding it back in there. And that's 2 5/8 to the cement. And the screws are only 1 5/8, and that's going through 1/2 inch drywall before it gets to the styrofoam. So I was pretty sure I'd be safe there, and I was. I had to double check it though. So we pulled that sheet off, and you can see actually that sheet and the one next to it now has double screws in there because I was worried that the original screw holes would not hold good enough. So I put them in the original screw holes and extra screw holes too, just to, let me turn this around for a second. Whoops. Okay, now see here from the corner out, we got double screw holes pretty much everywhere. And got our metal plates on. They're on behind there too. And now we can move on. 1 step forward and 2 steps back. No, maybe not. Maybe not 2 steps back, but it was a little bit of a backup, but we'll get it. I got a few more screws to put in up top here. We'll get them in and then start moving along with the next sheet. I'm actually only going to put 1 more sheet on here. If you can see, let me get over here so I'm not shining in light so much. I'm only putting 1 more sheet on that wall for now because the hearth that I want to work on, I don't know if you can see that blue line on the floor, but the hearth only goes over as far as this blue line here. Right there. Blue line's kind of fading because I've been walking on it. So the hearth will come over that far, and then over here, hearth will come out to that last blue line. We were trying different things, and it's going to come all the way out to this last blue line right out here. So I got to put 3 sheets along this wall here because 2 won't quite do it. So I got to put 3 sheets on this wall, 1 more sheet over there, and then we'll be ready to start building the hearth. Finally. Yeehaw. I went ahead and got my layout lines on this piece before turning you guys on, but we got the outlet box marked over there. I got side of the window marked here, so that's the bottom of the sheet. It's going to go up this way. I'm going to cut this window out on this side first because it's the smallest one of the 2. That other one's going to come quite deep, clear over to about here. So I'm going to leave that part in. We'll put it up there, block off part of that window, cut that part out on that first left-hand window after this is screwed up into place. So that's where we're at with this right now. I gotta get the middle. Okay. Now, how am I going to do this? install it in the middle. That's a little closer to the middle. Okay, now. Let's see what we get down there. Looks like I've got to finish cutting up my outlet hole before I do anything. Now I'll put that cover on there. This cover here, the reason I got to do this is because those styrofoam walls are only 2 5/8 thick, and the standard electrical box is deeper than that. And in order to fit enough wires in there, code calls for you have to have so many cubic inches to stuff the wire back in there. So I've got to get a big 4x4 box that's thinner. It gives me the cubic inches, and then I can put this on there and have a single outlet on there. So that's why I had to do it because on the styrofoam walls. On the wood walls, the stud walls, I don't have to worry about that, but around the outside perimeters, all my boxes have to be done that way. Okay, let's give this a try again. We got the cover on there, we got the hole cut. Hopefully everything's gonna fit, but we'll find out. I gotta put shim underneath it, keep it up off the floor. Like that. Okay, let's see what we got here. When we're tapping on the bottom, I'm going to bring the bottom out a little bit. There. Like that. Now just get back in there all the way. That's where she's going. A pretty good fit there. We're going to get just a few screws in here, just enough to hold things for now. So we make sure we're going to be good for our other cutout here and everything. Something I do want to do, well, I got my metal plates on there now, but I still want to get some marks on here for the height that I want to avoid, which is about 22 inches. So we're going to avoid from, say, 20 to 24. There to there. 2 1/4 right here. So right about there is where the edge of that window is. Try it up here a little farther. Quarter there too. So well, it's hard to see up there. The edge of the window frame here cut the tip off that one finger working on the house here a couple of years ago and lost some dexterity in that hand. Not a big deal, but just takes me a little bit longer to do things sometimes. Fit with screws. I've got a piece of plywood on top and then the actual framing wood for the windows. And some of the smaller windows we use some stuff called fox buck that you can buy with the fox blocks. It's made to go around windows and doors. But some of the bigger stuff I chose to go with this. It's not made by Fox Block, by the Fox Block company. What was it called? It's called Pre-Buck. Pre-Buck is what it was called. And I'll try to get you information on that too. And the Fox Block company, they were awesome to deal with. Their products are good. It's just that, just my own personal thing, just maybe because I'm a little old fashioned around the bigger openings, I wanted something that in my mind was more solid. But either way, whichever one you use, you still have to block the heck out of every opening before pouring your concrete, or otherwise that hydraulic pressure from that concrete will just squish your openings all in and they won't be, you know, they'll bow in on the sides and the top and the bottom and everything. So you gotta put like 2x4s across and screw them all in and put braces in between, in the middle, both ways, and stuff like that. And we'll have some of that on video. We'll get back into some of our older videos and pull some of that up and make some videos for you guys too, to show you what we had to do there. But that's something you definitely want to do if you build one of these houses, is not be frugal or worrying about wasting some lumber on your bracing, because it'll bite you in the butt in the long run if you don't brace them good. Pick up my shim, or the dogs will chew that one up too. gonna start getting fun when we get to start trimming around the windows and stuff like that. Right now, it's just all necessity stuff to get some heat in here.